This is part 2 of converting my Integra from 4x100 to 4x114.3 so we can run these JDM Integra Type R wheels. In part 1, we went over all the different parts you'll need to do this swap, and we completed everything for the rear. So now it's time to move to the front. Again, we need to start by taking off the caliper, so remove the 2 bolts on the back. The front also has a brake line bracket that's bolted to the knuckle, so we'll go ahead and remove those 2 10mm bolts. And again, make sure you find a way to keep the strain off the brake line. Next, we can remove the old pads and the 2 bolts on the back for the brake caliper bracket. Now it's time to remove the most useless thing on the entire car, these brake rotor screws. You might need an impact screwdriver bit if you can't remove these by hand, and just hope that they don't get stripped like this. There's a few different ways you can remove these when this happens, but I was able to get it out pretty easily. Now just throw those screws away because again, they are useless. Take off the old rotor, and again, we need to bend up that notch in the axle nut. I found this wedge-shaped chisel that fit perfectly into this slot, and then once it was round again, I just used the impact to break it loose and removed it the rest of the way by hand. Now instead of removing the hub, I'm gonna remove the entire knuckle, and you'll see why. So to do that, we need to remove 4 bolts that hold on the ABS sensor and 3 different ball joints. Each one has a small cotter pin that needs to be straightened and pulled out first, and then you can remove the castle nut. Starting with the bottom, I turn the steering wheel to give myself more room, and then you'll probably need a ball joint separator like this. Just keep tightening the bolt until it pops out. Boom, just like that. Moving over to the tie rod, again, remove the cotter pin, take off the nut, and use the separator tool to break it loose. And finally, one more on the upper control arm. This was the most awkward one to use the tool on, so you might need to smack the knuckle with a mallet to help it pop out. There we go. Now you can actually just push the axle out with your hand and remove the knuckle. These have bearings that are gonna need to be replaced when the hubs are pulled off. And since I don't have a press, I took these over to P-Tuning here in Virginia, and they helped me press in the new bearings, the hubs, and even replace the lower ball joints for me. At this point, the car needed to get done, and I was running short on time, so this was a huge help. Now we can throw these back on the car, and what's great about the 96 JDM Type R hubs is they use the same axles as the base models, so the hub just slides right on, much easier than doing a 5-lug conversion. Replace the axle nut with a new one, pop the tie rod back in, and of course, always clean off your new rotors, and then go ahead and slide them onto the new hubs. Replace all of the castle nuts on the ball joints, torque them down to spec, replace the cotter pins, and bend them back around the nut. Okay, we're almost done. Torque down the brake caliper bracket, grab your new shims and pads, apply the grease, and make sure you install these in the correct orientation. Slide on the new caliper, torque it down to spec, and quickly transfer over the brake line. You'll probably want to cover the floor and wear gloves for this part. Bolt the brake line bracket and ABS sensor back up, and finally, time for the axle nut, the last step. A trick to torquing it down in the air is to slide a screwdriver into the side of the rotor and use it as a stopper against the caliper. And again, this nut gets torqued down to 134 foot-pounds. And then take your chisel and punch in a notch just like that. All right, let's finally get these new wheels on, lower the car, and see how they look. And here it is. Personally, I love how this turned out. For the longest time, I've wanted either a Milano red Civic or Integra with white wheels, so this is really cool. I also took your guys' advice and raised the suspension in the rear just a little, and yeah, now it's sitting a lot better. These wheels are also 1 inch bigger than the stock wheels, so overall, just a much better look. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that was a lot more work than I was expecting, so I hope you think it was worth it. Let me know what I should do in episode 4.